had such a great episode today with another podcaster, and it was about humans, about all of us in humanity just reaching out to other humans. And it was such a great episode of an authentic conversation with an authentic human being. Now, Will Wise Otero is, Stuck in Your Mind podcast is the name of his podcast, and he talks to what podcasting is and how it's blessed his life and what does it look like and all of that great stuff. So if you're a podcaster or somebody who loves podcasting or listen to podcasts, I think you are going to love this episode with another real cool human being. All right, y'all. See you there. What up, party people? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. I have such a cool dude here. Okay, so I met him on another show. He was freaking awesome, great to have. And so I was like, yo, you want to come on my podcast? He's like, I'll come. And you see what I mean? He is awesome. He is really, really great. And he is like on a whole new level. He's like multi-talented, and his name is Will Wise Otero. And he really just juggles life as a husband, a father, podcaster, life coach, entrepreneur, content creator, like all of it without missing a beat. And I really, really like him, his spirit, who he is. So what sets him apart? Well, he's here to serve you up the real stuff, like genuine guidance, honest hustle, practical strategies, like really to help you ditch that corporate grind and embrace your calling. With his insight, you'll learn how to use every bit of your past experiences to build an authentic brand and to live a life that you love. So get ready, y'all. Get ready. Buckle in. All right. Because we got Will here. Will, welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure. I'm still getting over this
Yeah.
this cold. So
Oh, I know. It's been hitting everybody.
it's been suck. It's really sucked the last couple of days.
Plus, I have a lot of energy at whatever 8 o'clock in the morning. So sorry about that.
Well, here it's 10 o'clock where I'm at. So
Awesome. So it's good to have you. Listen, I really loved our conversation that we had on Rise and Outshine.
yes,
And it was such a great time. And whoever hasn't really seen Rise and Outshine, they really need to get on it because it's really a fun show. That was a lot of fun.
oh no,
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, it's Jeff. Jeff is amazing.
Yeah.
And this is the third rendition of Rise and Outshine, but this one I really love because it's really trying to help podcasters
Mm-hmm.
grow and let them
Mm-hmm.
know where they need to work on or whatever it is. And so for me, whenever we can give back to podcasting, because this has really been my passion for the last 4 years, is being able to just give back to the community
Mm-hmm.
and just give people a platform where they can share their voices. So when you came on and you're like, "Oh, can I interview you as my guest?" I was like, "Okay," because I was supposed to be hosting the show.
Right.
I wasn't supposed to be a part of the show. I was just supposed to be hosting it, and you made me a part of it. But it was great. We had a great time, and you're like, "Oh, I need to have you on my show." I was like, "Let's do it."
Yeah. That show is awesome. And you're right. I think it's really awesome to give back to podcasters and to have them have this critique and this voice, and then to have the audience participate too. A lot of people were on more than I thought, so a lot of people voted that day and it was really great. And so I met you there and I want people to know you a little bit more like I got to know you because I'm going to still go down that little rabbit hole we went down last time because we had to
Yeah.
cut it short. Jeff was like 10 minutes, cut it short. So So, Will, who are you? I want my audience to know. Who are you?
Man, I'm just a Brooklyn boy who late in life discovered his voice and his purpose. Um, but man, where do I start?
Start wherever you want. We'll go there.
So let's start with my podcasting journey because it's been an amazing journey for me. So in 2020, we of course the pandemic hit, and I got furloughed from work, and I was home. The wife had a honey to do list out the door for me, and
I know
so
that's right.
I needed to find something to do, and I had been wanting to podcast for over a year. I had purchased this little Ricky Dink $160 podcast studio from Amazon, and I just started using it, and But the crazy thing was, I, from 2019 to 2020, I was recording, deleting, recording, deleting. I wasn't satisfied. I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. Nobody's gonna listen to me. Who's gonna want to do anything? So when the pandemic hit and I'm home just chilling one day, I'm on the phone with my nephew, and I decided to press record. And we recorded like 5, 7 minutes of something, and that's what I released. It just took me to do just finally just record something and release it. But he was like, nah, you can't release that, you can't release that. You gotta wait till it's perfect. And I'm like,
Uh-uh.
nah, we're gonna release it because I want people to see where we started at to where we're at now. And so my first episode was probably like 5, 7 minutes. And then probably a few months later, we expanded on that episode. It was a reintroduction episode. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Isn't it great though? I mean, and I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that most podcasters make is that I need to be perfect thing, as
Mhm.
if we're perfect at anything when we start. That's the funny thing. Like, we're not perfect at nothing when we start, right? You're not perfect at relationships. You're not perfect at your job. You're not perfect at nothing. But for some reason, when we start to become podcasters or content creators, we need to be perfect. And I think that's actually gone out the window, Will. Like, a lot of people don't care anymore about the perfect. They care about authentic now.
Mhm.
It used to be like the really shiny person and all that kind of stuff, but now people are looking at that like, nah, you too shiny, right?
Nah, you know what it is though. I speak for the independent podcasters, for
Yeah,
the little guys, because yes, all these celebrities, they have their podcast, they have this built-in audience, so they come in with an audience and they come in
right.
with these big sponsorships and all that. But then you have a lot of these independent podcasters like ourselves that we don't have that fanfare, and
Right.
we really have to work hard to build up what we have.
Mhm.
And for me to go from where I was at to now, I'm proud of my accomplishments. Like
Same.
I would have never thought I would have got over 35,000 downloads of my audio podcast, and then build up my YouTube channel to 3,000 subscribers. And but it was the work and dedication that I put into it.
Right.
It
Right.
was
Right.
me just grinding and being consistent with it, and just, you know what, whoever watches it. Whoever doesn't, hey. But it's been amazing to be able to build these relationships.
Mhm.
That's what's one of the
Mhm.
key things for me is networking and building relationships with all these independent podcasters, because they're the only ones know the struggle and the work we've put into what we're doing. Like
Exactly.
we don't have, like I don't, when I first started, I still don't really have a team, but like editing, audio, video, all these things are skills that I taught myself because I didn't have the money to go pay
Yep.
an
Me too.
editor, a video, audio, any of this stuff. So they don't people don't see people don't see the work that you put into doing and putting out a podcast. They
Yep.
just see the finished product, but they don't see everything you have to do. And all these other podcasters like Joe Rogan, all these celebrity podcasts, all they do is show up and come and record.
Right.
We come in, we gotta make sure our sound check is right. We gotta
For real.
the camera's not blurry, the mic is not. We do a lot of work to really put our content out.
Yeah. That's passion, right? It's
Oh yeah.
passion and love. And that's it, literally all as you said, kudos, me too. Like the same thing. Right now I have a team, thank God, but I didn't before. And like I've been on at this for 4 years now. And I started as a, monologue, just me talking. And then eventually just became what we're doing today, which is a dialogue. And I decided to build the site to highlight other amazing people out here in the world because yeah, the celebrities get all the cameras and the video and the time, but there's a lot of good people on the ground, right? There's a lot of good humans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to highlight the good humans,
Mm,
like those are the people I want. And
yeah.
so I've had like one or two people that are really big viral people that want to be on the show. But if you're not aligned with what I want to do, I don't care how big you are. We're not doing it. Right. So, I mean, they don't like that very much. They're like, excuse me. But I'm like, we don't align. I'm not about
Yeah,
that.
nah,
So,
nah,
yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. I think Will, we and you talked a lot last time about where you come from, what you've been through in life, and how you hustled and all that kind of stuff. And the truth is, I think that makes us a different animal. You know what I mean? Like, we're just not. I'm just not impressed. I'm just not impressed. Right?
listen, I'm a Brooklyn boy, and I come from one of the roughest parts of Brooklyn, East New York, and all I seen was hustle. All I seen was my brothers and them hustling, and my aunt and everybody hustling and grinding, and so that's built in me.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
when I discovered podcasting, it was just something that I was like, you know what, this is what we're gonna do. And like me and my nephew done a lot with what we're doing and building podcasts.
Hmm.
We've published his second book. We've launched the internet radio station. We got our YouTube channel that we're trying to grow and build up. And we've become this little media company.
That's awesome.
But it's been amazing to be able to say that we've built this from the ground up.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
to be able to say that, hey, when people say you own a radio station, I say, yeah, I own an
Yeah.
internet radio station. It's mine. I paid for it, and it's still on, and I'm building it up right now. It's the second reincarnation of it, but it's something like, for some reason, I was like, I want to own a radio station.
Right. It's like, for some reason, I just
Yeah,
I just did
I
it.
just
Right.
I just did
It's
it. It was something that just came up, and I was like, you know what? And I'm blessed that my nephew was like, yo, let's do this.
That's so
I don't know
good.
if I could cuss, so I'm trying to restrain
Yeah, yeah,
myself.
yeah. You can curse if you want to. It's okay. So so take me to why. What's your why of doing this, right? Because yeah, you grew up in the like rough neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. So is it that because you said a little bit in the beginning that you found your voice,
Yeah.
right? So was there take us to the point where you had no voice. What happened there, and how did you get to the point where you said, "F it, I'm gonna go ahead and everybody's gonna hear my voice now."
So, all right. So I'm 44. I was 44 years old. I didn't know my purpose. Like I have a good paying job. I have a beautiful wife. We have a nice home, whatever. But I didn't know what my purpose was.
Mhm.
I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. And when I discovered podcasting, and I was able to start having these conversations and started interviewing these people, and the response I was getting from other people. Like one of my interviews, I sat down with a high school friend of mine. He's a highly successful real estate agent and real estate broker in Brooklyn, and a former schoolmate of ours heard our interview, and she had been on the fence about starting a job, starting a business and everything. And she heard our conversation about talking about mindset, vision boards, and everything we were working on. And she's like, yo, I know these two dudes. I grew up with them.
Mhm.
And look what they're doing, talking about what they're doing. If they can do this, why not me?
That's so awesome.
So when you get those messages from people, you're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I'm doing something.
Mhm.
Even if I'm impacting one person,
One person is generation. Is a
listen, one
generation.
person, how many people are they going to impact?
Exactly.
So it's a ripple effect. You impact one person's life, and it's a ripple effect. You know how many people
Yep.
they're going to go out and affect.
Yep.
So it's comments like those. It's I had another guest of mine. She was a guest of mine for one episode. We became good friends, or whatever. And then we recorded another episode, but for some reason it got lost in all the episodes and all the stuff I was doing, and I didn't release it till a year after we had the interview. And so when I released it, I made a real nice picture of her. I put it on the thumbnail. I wrote a great description about the show and everything, and describe a great description about her. And she messages me and she goes, is this the episode we recorded last year? I was like, yeah, I'm sorry about the me releasing it so late and everything. She's like, no. She says, you don't understand. She says, listening to the episode and you picking the picture for that thumbnail, which is one of my favorite pictures, and then everything you said about me in the description and everything. She says, I haven't been feeling like that person for the past few months.
Oh, wow.
She said, I've been struggling with that. And she says, thank you. She says, you reignited that in me. And when you get those messages of and the crazy thing was, it was our episode. It was like, this is our discussion, and our episode impacted her.
Yeah, not good. Oh, you give me chills. That's so good.
Oh,
That's
that's
so
great.
good, Will, because it just it shows you that I'm a person of faith, right? I believe in God.
Hmm.
But I also believe there's an enemy to our souls. I believe that. And so I believe that a lot of us who grow up have a lot more power than we think we do. And when we are shut down, whether it's our circumstances, our upbringing, whatever happens to us, and it shuts down our voice. But when we release that, whatever that is, that gifting, that power, whatever, the impact that you make in people's lives is so tangible, right? And then you realize, what have I been doing this whole time, not saying what I need to say? I felt that way when I wrote my book, because when I wrote it, it was about my life, and I knew that my family was not going to like it, because a lot of things happened to me in my youth, and oopsies, you were involved. You know what I'm saying? It's not my fault. So I wrote the book, and what happened was like a beautiful phenomenon, right? Because people who were reading it were coming up to me crying, like, "Oh my God, that happened to me. My brother did this to me. My father did this to me. My mother," you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, listen, if I can impact one person, and it started to become like a little local thing where I would go to a coffee shop and somebody's like, "Excuse me, are you Nina Perez?" Yeah. "Oh my God, I read your book. I have it in my, on the side of my bed." I'm like, wow, so Will, I'm telling you, one voice, one thing, one person, because that person now has people in their life too, right? It's that
Hmm.
ripple effect.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm a person of faith, so I believe in Jesus, right? So to me, Jesus only had 12 followers. And look what happened. 2,000 years later, I'm still believing in him. And there was
Yeah.
12 that started it, right? So I say that to say, yeah, we're not Jesus. I'm not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that our voices matter, Will,
It does.
right? It does. And that's probably why you love podcasting, because you're realizing, wait a minute, just by speaking my heart, my truth, and speaking to others and their heart and their truth is impacting the world.
It is, and it's something that's very important to me. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why when Jeff asked me to be a co-host of Rise and Outshine, I was like, hell yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I know what it is to struggle as an independent podcaster. I know what hiccups I've had when I started podcasting, and anything we can do to help improve the chances for other podcasts to succeed, I'm down for, because
Yep.
that's one thing this podcasting community has taught me, is that we look out for each other.
Mm-hmm.
We take care of each other, because
Mm-hmm.
we're the only ones that know the struggle we've had to sustain this.
Right.
Because
Right.
it's not, listen, people start podcasts every day,
Mm-hmm.
but by episode 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
9,
They fade out.
they're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, they fade out. Yeah, because it's a lot of work. Let's be real. It's a lot of work. You got to
It
get
is.
up. You have to have the content. You have to make sure you have the conversation. Make sure you got their bio. Make sure that there's a lot that goes on, right? And then
Mhm.
you also want to make sure you really let your guest shine, because they're your guest,
Yeah.
right? So I want to know about your podcast, Will. Tell me about what you're doing. What are you putting out in the world? What's the impact you want to make? What's that? What does your podcast look like?
Oh man, I've had coaches, entrepreneurs, regular folk, eh, had some celebrities, but to me, it's the ones that just have an amazing story. Like I just the other day interviewed this amazing lady, Jessie Torres, and she was abused by her father when as a child, and she had two of her brothers murdered. And so for her to continue to do what she was doing and change her life and be successful at what she's doing now, to me it was inspiring.
Mhm.
It's like, because anyone could use that as a crutch, as an excuse to remain a victim.
Mhm.
And so when I'm able to share stories like that and have people come on and share their stories to let other people know, hey, you're not the only one that's going through these things. There's other people out there that are willing to share their story, and you can see that you can survive this.
Mhm. 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 That's so true, right? And I think it's something to be said and honored when you let that person express that through their own
Mhm.
voice, right? And wow, what an amazing story, by the way. Wow, I got to listen to that episode. Is it out yet?
Yes, it's out. It's definitely out.
Okay,
Yeah,
got to listen to that. Okay, so tell me about then. You said, did you write a book or did your nephew write a book?
my nephew wrote a book,
Okay.
and it was so we was hustlers. Like, I mean, we did things we were not proud of. We did, and so he got arrested and he served his time, served and did what he was and did what did. And while he was in there, he wrote two books. One he just released it, and it was sort of like I guess a sex book. I didn't ever read it because I don't even care about his exploits. So, but it was the second book I'm really proud of, which is called Plush Life: From Prison to Peace.
Mm,
And Plush is an acronym for peace, love, unity. Uh, can't think of the rest right now, but and so to be able to help him publish that book, and when we've it's crazy because we've learned how to self-publish books now. It was something that's not something we're from the hood. It's not something we
right.
know. We don't know publishers. We don't know
Right. I,
anyone.
I self-published too, man. That's some work.
Oh yeah,
That is some
that's what
work.
I'm saying. So we've built this media empire without knowing shit about it.
Right.
We just dove in
Right.
head first and just like, fuck it, let's just do it. I would come up, like I said, I want to launch a radio station. He was like, all right, let's do it. Launch the
Yeah.
radio station.
Yeah, I wanna talk about that too because that's interesting. What are you doing on the radio station? What is that, what is that platform?
I'm giving other people a platform to shine.
Okay.
I'm giving other people DJs if they want to play music, podcasters if they want to play their shows.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
just another outlet for other people to shine and be heard.
What's the name of that, radio station?
Real Wise Radio.
Okay. Alright, and, so what's
I don't know what happened, but I don't hear you.
oh, sorry. What does
There we
it
go.
look like for you now, going forward, like 2025, 2026? What's the plans for Will?
Oh man. There's so much. There's so much to do, man. There's still a lot of things to do. But I plan on oh,
You got too much going on, Will.
I
You
do,
know
I do, I do.
That's funny.
And it's crazy, and it's crazy because it's not just me. It's other people who invite me to come along and do stuff. Like Jeff, he just told me like we got a bunch of events coming up this year. I was like, okay, cool, let's do
Right.
this. And it's and it's great because when you connect with people, with like-minded people, it's amazing that they were like they want you to come and be a part of what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he built this theater for podcasters,
Right.
and we actually for International Podcast Day, I went to Pittsburgh to hang out in the theater and do this
Oh,
2-day event
cool.
with him. And so now we're talking about doing stuff monthly
Oh,
and
wow.
to gear towards helping podcasters and it's giving me a platform to actually because I want to get into speaking, and so
Mhm.
it's giving me the opportunity to really get into speaking,
Yeah,
and it's doing different things for me to learn how to grow it to grow as a speaker. So
right.
to have a platform where someone believes in you and is like, dude, come on, this is our platform here, shine.
That's so cool, right? I love that. I love Jeff's heart for that. That's really cool. And I love that you're going to be you want to be a speaker and speaking on more stages. That's actually my goal for 2025. I'm going to be on as many stages as I possibly can. I'm aiming for 50, but we're going to see.
I'm aiming for
So
one.
all right, Nina, bring it down, Nina, bring it down. But think about it this way too, Will. This is a platform, right? My podcast is a platform. The next
Yeah.
podcast you go to is a platform. The
Mhm.
truth of the matter is that, I think a lot of times people overcomplicate it, right?
Yeah.
I've been talking to a few, and I'm not saying that it's not an art. It is definitely an art to be a speaker. But I love that goal of now really from going from a place of I don't have a voice to let me try this out to now I'm gonna really go out there and give my
Mhm.
voice, right? That's
Mhm.
that talks about growth and journey, and I love also when you talked about the radio show, radio station. You said it's in our second rendition. I want those who are listening to understand that this is a process and a journey. And the truth is that we are never ending up the way we started, right?
No,
Never.
things
And
never
the thought that we had too is never going it
no,
never really always happens
things never
either.
work things never work out the way that you plan them. If something
It's so
happens
true.
and things just plans get reworked and you gotta do things differently. But it's the drive not to give up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like you just can't. It's like, nah. Like when we first launched the radio station, it was like I was putting in so much money towards it and everything. And it was like, okay, yeah, listen, all right, I did it, I launched it. And so when I had to shut it down, it was like kind of bittersweet.
Yeah.
But then this year, AppSumo had this thing that helps you launch radio stations, and it's a lifetime license. So I was
Very
like,
smart. Very
I was
smart.
like, okay, I paid the $300 for this lifetime license compared to paying the thousands of dollars a year
Mhm.
to use this other platform. Yeah, no, I'm thinking I'm gonna pay
Duh.
I
Duh.
think I'm gonna pay the $300 and work on the radio station and build it up the way I
That's
want to build it up.
awesome.
And
Was it what is the platform what you expected? Would you like it?
oh yeah, I
Good.
love it. I love it. And it's the beginning. The other platform they would build the website and stuff for you, and then but that's fine. I've learned how to build my own website, so
Yep. Yep.
I'm
It's
working on
amazing
building.
what you learn when you're a
Yeah.
solopreneur. My husband sees me sometimes editing videos. He goes, "Man, you know how to do that." I'm like, "I had to teach myself. The YouTube
YouTube
University was my
University works.
friend."
Yeah, YouTube University works, yo.
It sure does. So
Whoever
does
don't
AppSumo. AppSumo works too. Like I
oh,
got a
listen,
lot of stuff from AppSumo.
oh,
Yeah.
me
Shout out to AppSumo.
yeah, and so, when I know somebody who's high up there at AppSumo, 'cause these relationships you build,
Yes, it
like,
is.
you connect with people and even with Podmatch, which is a platform that I use to get
Oh yeah,
guests,
I love Podmatch. Yeah, I use
right?
it too. Yeah.
So, I've met Alex and I've hung out with Alex Sanfilippo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so when you connect with these people in these relationships and you actually become friends with them, it's just an amazing feeling because these are people that think like you, that want the same thing as you, that they want to make this a better place for everyone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But they're also like a little bit ahead of the game, which is what I like, right? I
Yeah.
like to be in a room
So yeah, because you
where,
don't want to be the
yeah,
smartest person in the room. I
exactly. And
never,
I always
never,
used to say, if you
yeah,
got to
I never
bend
want to
down,
be,
go
yeah,
ahead.
I don't never want to be the smartest person in the room.
Me either. I'm always talking about that. I'm like, listen, if you got to bend down to be in a room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
You're in the
I'd
wrong
rather be in
room.
a room where I don't know shit and I can learn from
Right.
everybody.
Oh my god, I'm the same way, and I always like strive for that, and I think I've always kind of been like that. I've always been like the outlier, even like I grew up in the projects around crack vials and all that kind of stuff around me,
Yeah.
all that stuff, and I'm like, I just never, it never called me. It just never called me. Like my friends would be there. Oh, yo, you want to take us a line or
No.
nah, like nah, I don't want to do
Me, I
that.
had older brothers, so I seen what the shit did to them, and it was like something like, nah, I don't. That's
Yeah,
not for
yeah, I
me.
don't want that. Exactly. I was the same way. And I think it's good that we had those experiences, right? I
Mhm.
always feel like life built you for who you are, and and sometimes we allow those things to be suppressed, but life builds us for greatness. It really, really
Oh, listen,
does. Yeah.
it's been life has been been a kick, and it's been a bit of kick in the gut and balls, whatever you want. It
Mhm.
hasn't been easy. It's like so in 2008, my first wife passed away in a car accident,
Mhm.
and she's the one who introduced me to the world of self development. Like she's the one who introduced me to reading and she introduced Tony Robbins and all these other people, and so that was her way to prepare me for what was to come.
Mhm.
Because when she
Mhm.
passed away in 2008, and it was like I suffered one loss after another. Like I reconnected with my dad in 2009 after 28 years of not seeing each other, only to lose him Father's Day weekend of 2009.
Wow.
I buried uh, my uncle, then my brother, and then my other brother OD'd, and then my aunt. So it
Oh.
was just like one tragedy after another,
Yeah.
and so I was angry. It was like I was angry with God. I was like, "Why me? Am I such a horrible person that all this shit is happening to me? You're taking away everything from like I gained something and you're just taking it away from me."
Mm.
And so I was struggling. I was lost for a while, drinking, not giving a fuck about anybody, anyone, not caring about
Mhm.
myself.
Mhm.
And so when when I finally started getting my life back together, and I was like, and I stopped being angry, realizing like it's not happening to you.
Mhm.
It's just
Mhm.
life.
Yeah.
It's life. And so to be able to start seeking help and turning my life around, that's when things started changing. I met my wife that I'm with now. I landed the job that I'm at now, and things just started changing and things started falling into place.
Mhm.
It even is today, even you still get hit with life,
Of course.
but now I'm kind of much more better prepared.
And what's interesting is it goes all the way back to what we talked about too, how if you impact one person, you
Mhm.
change the world.
Yeah,
And your ex-wife did that, right?
for
She
me, yeah.
she introduced you to self-development, and
Mhm.
because she impacted one life, yours, you're now impacting the world.
Yeah.
Right? So it only takes the one. It only takes the one. And I think we need to get out of this social media mentality where you need a million people or 2 million people, three, whatever it is, to be impactful. I always feel like, listen, if you have an audience of one, you have an audience. you know and I don't know why we have gotten, well, I think it's just social media, right? Just media in general. You just get down this path of how many likes, how many people did I get, how many.
Well, we're new media, so it's different.
Yeah, yeah, it's true, right? Media is
Yeah.
changing.
Mhm.
Media is changing in a good way, I think,
Yeah.
because more people are coming to voices like us, more
Mhm.
independent voices than they are with all the garbage that's out
'Cause
there.
we're in the trenches.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
actually that's one thing we're regular people who are out there talking to other regular people and other
yep,
and we're realizing that okay, no, we're not just regular. We're more than that. That
yep,
we have stories.
yep,
We can
yep.
make an impact. We have people who hear that you need to listen to.
Right, because you don't have to be elite to be
Yeah.
listened to
No,
is the point,
and
right?
that's the problem is that they think they need to be these celebrities in
Mhm.
order to make impact. No,
Mhm. Mhm.
you,
Mm.
do you believe me? You can do amazing things, and you don't have to be a celebrity.
Absolutely. And I think also, being a celebrity or somebody who's elite like that, you don't control you anymore. They control you. That's one of the things that they don't tell you when they're all the way up there. They don't have a voice. They have to agree with everybody that's around them. They have to say what's on their script,
Yeah,
right? And when you're small and independent, or if whatever small is to people, you can actually say what's on your heart and mind and not be
mhm,
afraid. And you shouldn't be afraid anyway, right? I think that's
yeah,
what makes big guys like, let's say, like a Joe Rogan, who went against COVID, who went against the narratives, who went against all that. Yeah, he has a lot of money, he could fight a lot of laws and blah blah blah, but he also speaks what's on his heart and mind. I think that's why people connect,
yeah. No,
right?
and that's
Mhm.
one of the few people that isn't afraid of cancel culture, isn't afraid of
Exactly.
what what people think, and I commend them for that.
Yeah, me too.
And so that's why me when I got something on my mind, I'm gonna speak it.
Mhm.
And that's why I built this platform. Like
Mhm.
when I first started, it was a monologue. It was me just talking, and I wasn't enjoying myself
Mhm.
because it was more about
Similar.
I was ranting about work, not working, and at the time it was the 2020 election and George Floyd situation, and I was getting
Mm,
pissed off.
right.
Like I enjoyed talking, but I wasn't enjoying the topics.
Right.
And so when I decided to focus more on interview based podcasts, that's when I really fell in love with it.
Mhm.
Now I'm
Me too.
asking questions and having these great conversations, and now it's like, okay, I got something here.
Yeah.
Okay, and things started slowly but surely growing and growing and growing from the point where I couldn't get like at first I couldn't get anybody on my show because like you have a podcast, how many followers, how many listeners? I'm
Yo,
like, "Bro,
podcast. Damn.
I just started, man. I'm not." Oh well, contact me when you
Oh,
got more people.
yeah, I had people do that to me. "Contact me when?" I'm like, "Nah,
I'm
I
like,
don't even know
you know
your
what?
number no more."
I'm like, you know what? All right, don't worry about it. I'm gonna contact you. I'm gonna contact you.
Exactly.
Fuck that. So, but then it got to the point where now I got people reaching out to me like, "Yo, I heard your episode. Da, da, da.
Yeah,
I would love to be a guest on your show."
yeah, yeah, I know. That's when it becomes amazing, right? When you get those first
Like,
emails, you're
yeah,
like,
like
"What?"
I'm like, I remember when motherfuckers didn't even want to show up, and now you want to be a
Mhm.
guest? Okay, let's do this.
And
But
when your friends and family come around, usually after everybody else in the public has come around, that's when they decide, "Oh, maybe you for real."
so for me, no, I'm blessed
Oh,
because
good.
I'm
Not me.
blessed. I'm blessed. Like I said, my nephew, like when we start, because he's the one who kind of started before me. He had a YouTube and he was doing his YouTube thing and stuff like that. So he's the one who got me into
He
really
could
getting
he
into
could
doing
yeah,
it.
he could relate. Yeah.
And so, but when my wife, she was like, she says, "You know how I know you're serious about this? You have your PlayStation there, and it's been collecting dust.
So you're a gamer.
You have not touched your game in I don't know how long." She says, "Okay, now I know you're serious about this. What can we do to make this a
Oh,
business?"
that's so awesome.
So
Isn't that
she
awesome?
helped me
Yeah.
launch the LLC and everything that we're doing, and so to have
That's so
her
cool.
support, even though she hasn't listened to a single one of my shows.
Yeah, my husband hasn't either, but
She
he's super supportive.
she's my number one fan.
Yeah.
Let me she wears my t-shirts. She'll rock my merch without a doubt. She'll rock my merch. She cheers me on, but she's like, "Why the fuck do I gotta hear you? I speak to you every day. Like I know who
That
you
is
are. I
so
mean,
funny, Will. That is so funny. You're like the male version of my life. It's hilarious.
so,
All right. So I know I like to listen, and I know that, whoever's listening to my podcast right now. So my podcast is doing well. I'm really excited, right? I think we're like the top 1.5% podcast to listen to. I have over 140,000 views on YouTube. I have like, I don't know, 130, 140,000 downloads. Like it's going really well. And
That's
it's
great.
going well because of people like you, like just really natural, normal human beings having great conversations about life and things that happen in life and how we overcome it and how we transform the world. And that's
Yeah.
what it's about. And so how do people find you? Where do they go listen to your stuff? And, like all that, because I know that you also have your radio station. I want people who do have a voice or want to be on a radio station and stuff to find you as well. So give us that information.
Oh well, okay. You can find my podcast, which is called Stuck in My Mind Podcast, on all major platforms. I'm on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, um, YouTube. You can find Stuck in My Mind Podcast YouTube channel. And if you're look, I still haven't built the website for the radio station. There's a link it's just it's so much to say. I don't really even know the link directly, but if you
You'll
want,
give it to me though, right? I can
yeah,
put
I'll
it in
give
the
it to
notes.
you. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll give it
okay,
to you. But
okay.
if you're looking to have your show, or if you are a DJ wanting to to host a radio show, you can just reach out at to realwiseproductions@gmail.com, and we can definitely check it out. And if I like the show, then and right now I'm just trying to fill out I'm trying to just fill out the sheet, the
Yeah,
schedule. So there's plenty of room available for people out there who, if you, I need some salsa and merengue and some
that's
more hip
awesome.
hop, because right now I got a lot of rock and classic and like 80s, 90s music.
Hey,
Well,
hey, hey,
no,
hey, be
hey, I
careful,
love
Will.
that.
I
That's
like
no,
it.
don't get me
Okay.
wrong.
All right,
I
Will.
love that. I love that. That's
I was
my
like,
music.
hey.
That's my music. But I'm I'm not really looking for up like I'm looking for stuff from the 80s, 90s, and
That's
the
so
early
cool.
2000s. So if you're a DJ and you want to put up a mix every week and want to give it to me and I'll play it, I'm just I'm just trying to fill out slots. I got
Yeah.
I've been able to get some shows. I've filled out the schedule somewhat, but I'm still looking for some more shows.
Good, good. I was thinking as you're talking too, like even like people who are like music producers. Sometimes they have like a bunch of tracks and music that they've made. And I'm wondering if that's a good platform to also play that kind of stuff, right? Because it's a
Yeah,
good way to be found.
it
Yeah.
is. It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a way of your music getting played. Once, like, it takes one person to hear your song.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, this is so fun. Thank you for being on Straight Talk and chilling with my audience. I have a bunch of straight talkers out there, so I call my people, and they're awesome. Like one of the great things I love about my audience is I communicate with them a lot. So we're always talking, whether it's email, whether it's comments and social media, whatever. And what I love and what I've seen a lot happening is that people who have been on my show have actually ended up working with people who listen to the show. And I'm like, oh, that's good. Like it started about a year ago where I started noticing more and more and more connections. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome when you can be that conduit, from
Yeah.
one person to the other. And so I'm grateful that you're here and that people heard you and see your cool vibe and know who Wise is, because I just loved you from when we first met on the other podcast. So thank you so much for hanging out with me and being here and chilling, and I appreciate you.
The pleasure's all mine, man. It's been great. It's been a great experience. Like, even like, see the sneakers behind me.
Mhm.
Um, it's a friend of mine. She had just this. I've had these sneakers for a couple of years now. So she actually took a pair of beat down Jordans that I had, right, and restored them and changed the color on them and put my logo on
That's
them
so
and everything.
cool.
And so it's stuff like that, is being able to help support other people.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's important for me, is being able to come on and support other shows, and being a guest is great. I love being a guest, and I need to do it more often, because that's a way of me building up my audiences to go on
Yeah.
other shows, and I haven't really had the chance to really do it, but this is really forcing me to go,
Good.
and reach out to other shows.
Kick you in the butt. You need to do that. You said you want to speak more.
Yes, I do. And it's great because I've actually been getting a lot of requests for people after they come on my show. They're like, "Yo, I want you to come on my show." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
cool, let's
Yeah.
do it."
Yeah, yeah, you need to do that more, honestly. It gets your
It
voice out
does.
there. I've gotten clients by doing that, so definitely get yourself out there, get your voice out there because, it's great that you have your own podcast, but you need to be found. And the best advertisement in the world is to be in the place you want to be, which is
Yeah,
podcasting, right?
yeah.
So you need to do it. Well, if there's one person listening right now who wants to start a podcast, but is like, what's the one advice you would give them real quick before we wrap up?
Just press record.
That's it.
That's it. That's all it
That's
takes.
it. I
It takes
love
you to
it.
press record and release it. And don't worry about it being perfect. You're never gonna be
Right.
perfect. If you're gonna
Right.
wait till it's perfect, you're gonna be waiting forever.
That's it. And if you record one, the second one will come, then the third,
Yeah.
then the fourth.
The fourth and
Just
the
keep
fifth.
going. Yeah,
And they just keep
exactly.
coming out like
And
nothing.
then 500 like me. Like I didn't know it was gonna happen, but it happened.
Oh man.
It happens. Thank you so
It's
much,
no,
Will.
no, pleasure's all mine. I love it.
Yeah, this is fun. Guys, thank you for hanging out with me and Will. I told you he was a cool dude. I want to make sure that you connect with him. So I'm going to link all of his information below. So you guys go ahead and follow, apply to be on his radio station, the whole thing. Because let me tell you, when somebody's building something out of love and passion, that means you're going to get what you need out of it, right? It's not some big conglomerate that doesn't even, that you're a number. This is like real people doing real things
Yeah.
to highlight other real
Oh,
people,
and
right?
the thing is, I want, like, I don't have any ads or sponsors or any of that, but eventually that will come.
Hmm.
And when it does come, it's just not for me. It's for everyone who's a part of part of the radio station. I want everyone to eat. For me, I want all my friends, like all my fellow podcasters. I want all of them to be successful.
Yeah,
It's
me
not.
too.
I'm not competing with anyone.
That's
I'm
right.
not competing with you.
That's right.
I want you to succeed because I want us all to be celebrated at the same time. I don't. It's not about me.
Right.
For me, if how do expect anyone to support me if I'm not out here supporting anyone else?
That's right. There's enough
So
airspace for all of us, Will.
listen, so my goal is to share what if we can build the radio station into something amazing. Everybody who's a part of the radio station is gonna eat.
That's it. Oh, I love it. I love it. See, guys, I told you. Good human on the planet. Make sure you follow him. All right. I love you guys so much. This is Neena Perez. Straight talk, no sugar added. Until next time.